in that moment, you have everything you need. In that moment, you have air to breathe. In that moment, you have shelter. In that moment, you have food, or you have at least what you ate, right? In that moment, you're surviving. You don't have to worry about survival mode because you're already alive. You're already breathing. Surviving financially when you've taken a leap and it didn't quite go the way you expected it was going to go is kind of like learning how to swim. If you're teaching someone how to swim who does not know how to swim, what is the first thing they have to learn how to do? Relax, right? Because if they're like this, and they're going to drown, right? Same thing with with your finances. If you're freaking out because of your finances, you're going under. You cannot afford to freak out. Number one is relax. Relax. And it's an act of faith to relax when all evidence is against you. But this is a principle. I dare you to test it. I dare you to test it. How many of you have tested that? Where you're in this panic mode and you choose to relax. Did you know that oxygen itself is a relaxing substance for muscles? I learned this when my son was going in for heart surgery at 4 days old. I asked the doctor, he was on oxygen, and I was trying to understand what the oxygen was doing for him. And she said, if you were to put a muscle in a test tube with oxygen, the muscle would relax. I don't know if that's true, but that came from the cardiologist. And so yes, it supplies oxygen to your brain and it keeps you alive and everything else, but it's a relaxant. So first thing, if you're going to relax and you want to relax, is breathe. All right, so someone's swimming or trying to swim, they're freaking out. First thing is relax, because they'll find out if they relax and take a deep breath, what will happen? They'll float, and you float financially. I promise you, this is a principle you can test and prove, that when you think that all disaster is all around you, breathe, relax, and start focusing on these other things, and let the money take care of itself for a while. It's already a disaster. You're only going to make it worse if you don't do this, right? So what other options do you have anyway? So think about this. Back in the water, breathe, relax, breathe. What are we doing here? Have you ever tried to help a child float and they keep doing this and they just sink, right? Keep your chin up. I know that's cliche, but it works financially too. Take a deep breath, relax, keep your chin up. What are we doing? We're trying to keep in tune with that spark of genius that's going to get you out of it. You have to put yourself in that position of being relaxed. Otherwise, you've cut yourself off from the channel of solutions. Every problem has a solution, or it wouldn't be called a problem. I don't know what you'd call it.
An inconvenience.
An inconvenience. So Garrett started teaching us this, and we were testing it. And actually, as we realized that Garrett's materials were so in alignment with what I was doing, but his was at such a different, more intellectual, more educated level. I mean, his stories are all about being being president of major companies and stuff like that, and I'm a stay-at-home mom of 7, all right? And so what's really cool is that we have very little in common, but the principles have proved true for him, and they've proved true for me. Isn't that cool? Very cool. I think it's really awesome.